Hello friends, welcome to this video, and in this video we are going to learn what is a fault and what are the terms and terminologies associated with it. Okay, what is a fault? See, this is a brick, or you can say this is a rock block. Due to application of some forces, what happened? This broke down. Okay, this broke down like this. So this fracture or this crack or this break is called a fault. Now listen to the definition. A fault is defined as a fracture, break, or crack along which blocks of rocks have been displaced relative to each other. Fracture is generally a break or fault is generally a break or fracture along which the rock blocks are displaced with relative to each other. Means they are displaced, they move in relation to each other. Okay, so this moved down in relation to this one, so this is called a fault. Okay, how is fault formed? Fault is formed due to forces. What kind of forces? Tensional forces and compressional forces. What is a compressional force? See, if I apply opposite force towards this, toward the center of this pencil, or if you consider this a rock layer, if I apply if I apply force in opposite direction towards the center of this layer or this strata, then this kind of force are called compressional force. And if I apply opposite force away from this center, then these are called tensional forces. Okay, just like this. See, if I apply force, if I apply opposite force from both the sides on this point, and away from this point, so such forces are called tensional forces. And if I apply opposite force towards this point, these are called compressional forces. Okay, now let us understand the terms related with the fault. Okay, this black portion is this one and this black portion is this one. I have made the enlarged view of this in 2D. This is 3D and this is a 2D. Okay, to make you understand some points. First of all, we have to learn what is a fault plane. Okay, to understand hanging wall, footwall, we have to learn what is a fault plane. So this is the definition of fault plane: fracture surface along which relative movement has taken place. Now understand this fracture surface or plane along which the relative movement has taken place. The relative movement has taken place along this surface. So this surface is called fault plane, or this plane is called fault plane. Okay, it is generally a plane along which the displacement has taken place. In this line is showing that plane. Okay, now listen, what is a hanging wall? Hanging wall, see, if fault plane is inclined, in this diagram, three-dimensional diagram, you can see this fault plane is inclined. This is like this. So if the fault plane is inclined, then the block that is lying above the this line, above this inclined plane, above this fault plane, that is called hanging wall. And the wall that lies below this fault plane, that is called footwall. And we have another definition also: the block that has slide down, or the block that rests on the footwall, is called hanging wall. And the block that rests on the surface is called the block that rests is called a footwall. So I was saying that yeah, the block that is at rest, this block is at rest, this block is at rest, so this block is called footwall. And the block that moves down, that is called hanging wall. I told you two definition, you can use any one of them, both are good, but this one, the first one, is better. Using the fault plane, you can tell. Okay, down thrown. Of the two blocks, one moves down. Out of these two blocks, one moves down. So this one that moves down is called down thrown, and other stays at its position. And the one that stays at its position, this one, or here this one, that is called up thrown. What is a head? Before head, we should learn the vertical component and horizontal component. So yeah, this is the vertical component of the displacement of fracture of rock block. Okay, the vertical component of the displacement of fractured rock block. Okay, here it is AB. So the vertical component of what? The vertical component, this is the displacement took in this place, and its vertical component is called throw. What is that called? Throw. THROW. Okay, and the next definition is that is of heave, horizontal component of the displacement of a fault. Okay, that is called heave. Here it is AD. Just see the horizontal component of the displacement. This is the displacement took place in this plane, and its horizontal component is called heave, and vertical component is called throw. Okay, now let us learn what is depth. No, sorry, first we are going to learn what is head and then dip. What head is basically an angle. You can see here this is an angle, and it is between the displacement the fault plane, because the displacement took place in the fault plane, and the throw, you can say throw or vertical component. The displacement, sorry, the angle between the fault plane and the throw or vertical component of the fault is called head. Okay, the angle between vertical line or throw AB and inclination of fault plane AC. AB and AC, the angle between them is called head. Okay, between throw and fault plane. Now dip. What is dip? The angle between horizontal plane AD and inclination of fault AC. Yeah, or we can say the angle between heave and fault plane. Sorry, okay, and fault plane. And the angle between heave. What is a heave? This horizontal component, this, and fault plane, this, is called, between AD and AC is called dip. Okay, fault plane I have explained you, throw I have explained you, heave I have explained you, net slip. Total displacement due to a fault. The total displacement that takes place in a fault is called net slip. Okay, in this diagram you can see what is the total displacement. From this point to this point, this is the total displacement. Okay, and how it is measured? It is measured between 2 points which were originally in contact. Okay, suppose now understand this in 2D. This is a rock, and these are the 2 points that are in contact. They break, and this point is here, and this point slides down. So the distance between these two will be the net slip. Okay, strike. What is a strike? It is a line formed by intersection of fault plane and horizontal plane. This we have already studied in previous videos. I forgot the topic in which we studied, but yeah, we have studied strike line. Okay, this we studied, I think, in the topic dip and strike. There we studied this. Okay, trend or a line formed by intersection of fault plane and horizontal plane. So here the line formed by intersection, this is the fault plane and this is the horizontal plane, so this line is strike. Okay, this line. And the next is dip slip. When movement or slide is parallel to the direction of dip of fault plane, that slip is called dip slip. And when the movement is parallel to the direction of strike, that is called strike of fault, that is called strike slip. Okay, next is fault scarp. What is a fault scarp? Scarp means a slope. Scarp is basically a slope. Okay, so fault scarp, what is that? It is the cliff formed along the upthrown side of fault. In some places, and this is the upthrown side of fault, upthrown, and this is the downthrown. So a cliff formed here. That cliff formed here is called, cliff is basically a big rock like structure. That is, cliff is called a fault scarp. An upstanding structure, it is an upstanding structure with a steep side. Steep side means standing side that is very slopey. Okay, so that is called fault scarp. Okay, now fault zone. Area of crushed or altered rocks where fault occurs. It is a zone or area where crushed and altered. Altered means the rocks with which change has been done, and they have suffered changes. So such are called altered rocks. So area of crushed or altered rocks where fault occurs. So such an area where crushed rocks and altered rocks and faults occurs are called fault zone. Shear zone, what is it? Area of broken rocks where several fault occurs, and it is the area of broken rocks where several parallel fault occurs. Okay, now the notes.